What if I told you that mastering your emotions could be the secret to unlocking the success you've been chasing all along? It's not luck, it's not intelligence, it's emotional control. Let's dive into why that matters. This is the most overlooked yet powerful skill for achieving the life you've always envisioned. It's not intelligence, it's not luck, and it's not about your network. There was a time I earned $50,000 a year in a job I couldn't stand. I transformed my life by gaining control over my emotions. Today, I run a multi-million-dollar business, have a supportive partner, and live the life I once only imagined. Let's explore how emotional mastery can unlock that level of success. Because learning to manage your emotions consistently can significantly increase your earning potential. The most underrated skill, and one of the easiest to build, is consistency. No one grows up dreaming of becoming consistent, but this habit is what builds true confidence. Consistency is how you learn to rely on yourself, and when you trust yourself, others naturally follow. Being consistent means showing up regardless of how you feel. It's about honoring your commitments and taking responsibility, even when it's uncomfortable. You can't be unreliable and expect others to put their faith in you. Earning trust and ultimately financial success begins with showing up for yourself. Emotions tend to swing. One moment you're motivated, the next you're tempted to skip your goals. Maybe you want to get fit, but your feelings convince you to hit snooze, stay on the couch, or keep scrolling through videos. Whatever goal you're chasing, start small and start today. Ask yourself, what area of your life needs more consistency? Most people immediately recognize it. It could be your diet, your drinking habits, your spending, your relationships, or your follow-ups and appointments. Whatever comes to mind first, that's the area to focus on. Begin there. Ask yourself, how can I show up in a way that supports consistency? Because over time, consistency is what builds the confidence required to level up your life and income. There are many things in life outside of your control, where you were born, the circumstances you faced, the past you carry. But this is something you can control. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how consistently you show up, no matter the situation. That means being on time for meetings, honoring your commitments, and maintaining consistency across every aspect of your life. But consistency doesn't come without emotional discipline. I used to struggle with this. Sometimes I'd show up and lean on my charm or personality to make a strong impression, giving the impression that I'd follow through, only to walk away and jump into the next conversation, leaving tasks unfinished. It felt good in the moment, but the work didn't get done. If that sounds familiar, it's one of the quickest habits you can fix. Simply do what you say you're going to do. Follow through. The second emotional challenge you need to overcome, and the one that holds most people back, is taking things personally. If you want to succeed, you have to develop the ability to separate your emotions from your actions. Compartmentalization is key. It's remarkable how in a single day, something incredibly positive can happen, like landing a big win, while something stressful or disappointing happens at the same time. A team member might resign. A client could be unhappy. An order might fall through. Or a technical issue pops up between platforms. Success means learning to operate in multiple mental buckets. Just because one area of your life is struggling doesn't mean everything else has to stop. You can't allow one setback to derail all your other efforts. But the temptation is always there. One negative event can consume your focus and energy, distracting you from all the other priorities that still need your attention. That's when emotional discipline matters most. So how do you compartmentalize? How do you keep moving forward, even when one part of your life isn't going as planned? What worked for me was setting calendar blocks for different priorities in my day, different compartments, each tied to goals that move me forward. For instance, I might dedicate the first 90 minutes of the day to a specific task. If that task runs into roadblocks, I don't let those frustrations spill into the next item on my calendar. Even though I'm the same person, each goal deserves my full attention. The next task is just as important as the last one. I can't carry over the baggage from one into another. That's how I reset, hour by hour, meeting by meeting. I treat every meeting or session as a fresh start. A new moment, a new focus. The people I'm working with, the project I'm tackling, it all deserves my full presence because that goal matters too. When you learn to separate challenges and emotions into distinct categories, you can move through your tasks, make decisions faster, and hit your goals more efficiently without dragging the weight of unrelated issues behind you. You'll know how well you're compartmentalizing by looking at the actual outcomes in the different areas of your life. For example, if you're not making progress in the gym, there's a good chance another area, whether it's work, parenting, or your relationship, is draining your energy and attention, preventing you from prioritizing your fitness goals. This happens when you're not effectively separating those areas. The stress or challenges in one compartment are spilling into another, holding you back. In short, your results reflect how well you're managing emotional boundaries between different parts of your life. If every area of your life is improving, your health is better, you're earning more, your relationships are thriving, your social life feels meaningful, that's a strong sign you're successfully compartmentalizing. But if you're not seeing growth, chances are your focus is scattered and you're not managing your priorities as well as you could. And the truth is, results matter. Results often lead to financial success. So if your income isn't growing year after year, that's an indicator you may be spending your energy in the wrong areas or not managing your focus effectively. Now here's one of the most valuable tips. Regulating your emotions in the workplace is essential. This might sound controversial, but the only emotion that should consistently show up at work is celebration. That means no unnecessary drama, no emotional outbursts, and definitely no gossip. Why? Because those emotions don't drive results. Productive work environments are focused, streamlined, and built on clarity and accountability. They're optimized for action. Everyone knows what their role is, how to deliver on it, and they're working together toward shared objectives. Bringing unresolved emotions like frustration, anxiety, or personal drama into the workplace reduces focus and slows momentum. High-performance environments don't run on emotional noise. They run on aligned, committed effort. It's important to recognize that while your feelings are valid, they don't automatically belong in your work setting. Acknowledge them, of course. You might feel tired, overwhelmed, or discouraged, but then remind yourself those around you aren't responsible for your emotions, and they likely can't fix the issue either. That's where emotional self-management comes in. It's about learning to keep showing up and staying focused no matter how you feel inside. This helps create a culture of performance, and people will naturally trust and follow leaders who remain calm and composed. There's a great message in the book, If You Have to Cry, Go Outside. It doesn't say not to cry. It simply reminds us that there's a time and place to process emotions. You're human. You'll feel sad, worried, or uncertain at times, but that doesn't mean you need to bring that into every room you walk into. One question I always ask myself is, can the person I'm sharing this emotion with actually fix the problem? If the answer is no, then it's likely not the right moment or place to express it. If you want to lead, emotional regulation is essential. It's what gives others confidence to trust your direction. We'll dive deeper into this concept in the final tip, which is my go-to strategy for shifting your mindset in any workplace setting. Number 4, understand that the way you speak may be quietly undermining your credibility. It's a subtle issue, But if you've ever felt that people don't take you seriously, your communication style could be the reason. Often it's the language we use that adds unintended emotion to our message, especially when we start sentences with phrases like "I feel" or "I think." These phrases don't project certainty or confidence. If you're aiming to build trust and authority, it's worth auditing your communication habits. If you frequently say, "I feel like we should," or "I think it's best to," shift instead to something like "the data shows," or "here's what the numbers suggest." Making this shift forces you to ground your communication in evidence rather than emotion. And this simple change can improve your impact significantly. Too often, decisions are made based on gut feelings without validating them through any research or facts. But when you begin with data, you naturally elevate your credibility. One helpful technique is to pause before responding. A well-placed pause allows you to quickly assess whether you have actual data to support what you're about to say. If you don't, consider holding off. Let data guide your communication, not unchecked emotion. Now, tip number 5, managing relationships at work, especially when they're personal. This doesn't refer to your general workplace peers. It's about navigating work dynamics with a boyfriend, spouse, sibling, or other family members. Working with someone close to you can either be a powerful advantage or a major challenge. We've all heard the advice, don't date a coworker. But what if you end up marrying one? It's easy for emotions to run high when family and business mix. Personal connections bring additional complexity to professional settings. Having worked closely with my spouse for nearly a decade, and also, alongside siblings and other relatives, I know firsthand how difficult this balance can be. When you work with family, emotional awareness becomes even more important. No one wants to feel like they're part of a chaotic or emotionally charged family business environment. I recall a moment early in our working relationship where, in the middle of a meeting, something unexpected happened. It was the first time there had been tension, and it caught me completely off guard. The conversation took an emotional turn in front of others, and I remember thinking, this isn't the place for this. The lesson? Emotional control matters even more when personal relationships are involved in business, and how you choose to respond, especially in group settings, will shape the tone for the rest of the team. There was a moment early in our working relationship where Brandon called me out in a meeting, publicly, and I was honestly furious. It was completely unexpected, and I felt he had crossed a line. But even though I was angry, I didn't let that emotion take over in front of the team. Why? Because I understood that reacting emotionally in that moment would not only have hurt my credibility, it would have damaged how the entire team perceived both of us as leaders. Instead of confronting him on the spot, I chose to stay composed. Later, I pulled him aside and had a direct private conversation. That's been my rule for handling emotions when working with family members. Address the issue directly, but do it privately. Just because I may feel disappointed or hurt doesn't mean it's okay to unload that in front of the entire team. The people we work with shouldn't have to witness or navigate tension between family members or partners. When you work with someone close to you, whether it's a spouse, sibling, or another relative, it's vital to keep things professional. You and your partner must agree that personal emotions stay out of the workplace and that you're always aligned publicly. That unified front is what creates stability for everyone around you. You also need to be aware of perception. When you're in a relationship within the workplace, others might assume you have an unfair advantage. That perception is real, and you have to be mindful of it. But your circumstances are yours, just like your fingerprint. You don't have to apologize for them. Instead, embrace the opportunity to build something meaningful together, but never use that as an excuse for drama or unprofessional behavior. Keep your standards high, stay aligned behind closed doors, and lead with clarity. That brings me to strategy 6. Understand that people will doubt you, label you, and underestimate you, but they cannot ignore your results. One of the hardest truths I had to learn is that you can outwork any stereotype. For a long time, my own assumptions about how others saw me held me back. I believed people thought I was just a trophy wife, a gold digger, or someone who didn't know what she was doing. That mindset was toxic because I was doing the work, but still felt like it wouldn't matter due to those assumptions. Eventually, I realized something important. It doesn't matter what they think. It matters what I believe. My worth isn't defined by others' opinions. It's defined by the contribution I make, the goals I pursue, and the results I create. Sure, people may assume that my husband built my success. Others might say I'm only where I am because of him, or ironically, that he's holding me back. But they don't know me. They haven't seen the effort, the decisions, the setbacks I've pushed through, or the growth I've had to earn. Whether someone thinks I'm smart or not, attractive or not, capable or not, it's irrelevant. Their assumptions don't change the facts. And the fact is, results speak louder than opinions, and here's the truth. No one's thinking about you as much as you think they are. Their opinions, they come and go. Their judgments, temporary. What really matters is the impact you make, the results you produce. That's where your focus should be. If you want to get emotional about something, let it be this, that you haven't yet made the difference you're capable of. Let that be the fuel, not the gossip, not the labels, not the outside noise. Get up, refocus, get back to work. And that brings us to the final strategy for mastering emotional control. Let people label you. Just don't let it define you. It's wild how men are called bosses for being assertive, while women in the exact same situation might be called, well, something far less flattering. And to be honest, I'm okay with either. If someone calls me a boss, great. If someone uses another word because I'm direct and effective, that's fine too. Because at the end of the day, those labels are meaningless. What matters is, are you getting the job done? Now, if you're being rude, inconsiderate, and steamrolling people, that's not leadership. That's dysfunction, and it will catch up to you. Toxic leaders don't build great businesses or strong teams, but if you're being called names simply because you're clear, confident, and committed to results, then wear it like armor. One of my favorite reframes comes from Elena Cardone. She once shared that being called a gold digger used to really bother her until she flipped the script. She started saying, "Yes, I am a gold digger. I dig for gold in every relationship. I dig for gold in myself." That's powerful. That's truth. And that's how you take a label and turn it into fuel. So if people label you, reframe it. If they call you controlling, say, "I'm just decisive." If they say you're too much, reframe it as, "I'm intense because I care deeply." If they say you're a gold digger, say, "Yes, I dig for gold in every corner of my life." Because mastering how you respond to these labels and how you regulate your emotions is the gateway to unlocking everything you want. And remember, what's holding you back isn't just your mindset, it's your habits. So if you're ready for the next level, go watch the next video. The 9 habits. You need to join the top 1%. You don't need approval, applause, or permission. You need results. Let your work speak so loud that no label can silence it. Now, go build the life you came here for.